All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Kodash. Double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel. Peace, salutations to Lake Akim in the four corners, pushing the truth and sincerity. Peace be unto you. Shalom. And the Hebrew word for today is Kodash. It has a numerical value of 404. It's Kwa, it's Da, and then Shah. If you look up at the screen, you can see the pronunciations and the numerical value next to it. That's 404. Kwa represents 100. Da represents 4. Sha represents 300. Add 300 plus 100 plus 4 gives you 404. Interestingly enough, and sort of an anagram, if you rearrange the words, you get the word shaquad, which means watch. That's H8245. And that's spelled Shah. In Hebrew, is spelled from right to left. Shah, Kwa, and Da. You can find that word in Psalms 127, verse 1. Word for watch. Now, the herb of the day is none other than horseradish. Herb of the day is horseradish root. Not just horseradish, but horseradish root. The root of it. As you can see, it's on the screen. Gotta shave some of that down to get to the meat of it. Extremely potent. It's the bitter herb that we choose at Great Millstone, Detroit, for the Passover, which I have the honor of serving up the horseradish by shaving it. You get some uh, stock and quantities of it, and you cutting it, you have to look away because it's so strong and potent that it's basically the fumes of it is getting in your eyes. That's how you know you got some good horseradish. It's gonna be bitter as hell, but it's good. Some of the benefits of it are it's rich in vitamin C, uh, and vitamin B9, also known as folate. Folate it helps with DNA, RNA, and red blood cells. Helps with it, helps them to grow. Uh, Benefits of horseradish root up on the screen. Uh, now, this is always a disclaimer because E likes to snatch your stuff for medical disinformation. So this is all allegedly. Allegedly, it's good for fighting colds, for fighting cancer. Allegedly, Esau, allegedly. Uh, Allegedly, it's good for a lot of stuff. So allegedly, kinda, maybe, I don't know, possibly, all that don't strike my channel stuff. But on with the lesson.
Happy New Year. Bienvenido. Good night. Good night. Good night. Que se dice? Good night. Que se dice? Buenas noches, ¿no? Good night. Happy New Year.
Developing this morning, a Venezuelan court has now directed Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez to assume the powers and duties of acting president. This comes after longtime leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife were captured by U.S. military forces after early Saturday morning strikes in Caracas. They are now in the United States to face criminal charges.
We have local 10's Shren Kelly in the newsroom with the details on what could happen next. Well, Alexis Rodriguez called Maduro's detention a, quote, kidnapping and demanded his release, adding that Maduro is, quote, the sole president of Venezuela. And that appears to contradict a statement made by President Donald Trump, who said Rodriguez was willing to work with the U.S. New images showing Nicolas Maduro blindfolded and handcuffed moments after he and his wife were captured by the U.S. government. The photos shared on social media by President Donald Trump on Saturday, just hours after Maduro's capture. Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez struck a defiant tone. While surrounded by regime loyalists, she called the U.S. operation barbaric, declaring Nicolas Maduro is the only president of Venezuela. Known to many in the country simply as Delcy, Rodriguez has been an influential and reliable regime enforcer for nearly 2 decades. She began in the government of Hugo Chavez, faithfully implementing the tenets of Chavismo, the nationalist populist movement that brought the Venezuelan economy to its knees. Uncompromising in her rhetoric, she vilified the Venezuelan opposition and frequently warned the country about the threat of foreign intervention.
2026. This is the breaking news: is that America just waged war on Venezuela. Started it and ended it. Grand opening and grand closing, all within what a matter of what? As they say, what, 3 hours? The operation took. I don't know. I heard different reports. Some said it took like 30 minutes. Some say it took 3 hours, whatever. But they had been beating the war drums for a minute. Been putting strategically putting their navy vessels off the coast of Venezuela and stuff like that. Now you have what do you call that? You have wars and you have what do you have, like battles. And now this seemed like there wasn't even a fight back. They didn't have a time to. Now it goes to Daniel 12:4, where it says knowledge shall be increased. That's talking about technology. And some of that technology is being increased, is used for the weapons to advance the military. Now the military can wipe out a whole country and take over its regime uh the exact same day that they go in and invade. It's almost like, there's certain technological advancement that E has made. Kind of like building a house. It used to take, a long time to build a house. Now, not so long to build a house. Build these skyscrapers, it used to take a long time. Now these skyscrapers is going up pretty fast. With the way America just basically took this over, it shows you how advanced America's technology. And I think I read somewhere where America had control of their airspace, and I'm sure they had control over their communications and inability to communicate. Uh, Probably had able to cut off their radar, sonar, lidar, and all the other stuff that they would need to communicate, but did it very easily and very calculated. Now this is setting the precedent, because this is now you basically everybody food. America's foreign policy for the longest has been basically negotiating with other nations, and you give us this, I give you that, like Brittany Griner, stuff like that. We'll swap out a prisoner. I'll give you a dyke lesbian WNBA player. Trump's foreign policy is FAFO. That's his foreign policy. F around and find out. And the president of Chile, he was basically just saying, yo, hey, you gotta watch this motherfucker, because today it was Venezuela. It could be me next. It could be you. He basically saying they setting a whole other precedent, and yes, they are. set a new precedent with Americans of foreign policy. Because of what just happened? They just attacked Nigeria on Christmas Day. Now that wasn't nowhere near on a full fledged scale war, but they did conduct some type of operation. Slacky. This is Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You know we got a short time. That's why he's trying to make America great again. That's why Isaiah 19:4, Babylon is given into the hands of a cruel Lord. Trump coming down with great wrath. They got an agenda to get this thing on and popping. He was talking about Venezuela. He had talked about Greenland. He talked about making Canada a 51st state. He been talking tough. And what has he been doing? He been backing it up. You know, and it's funny that because Greenland has there's a what is that? Solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, one of the two. But it appears in Greenland in August, and it's very, very because all some of these uh signs are only seen from some countries, and Greenland is theirs is in August. Stuff is the pot is really stirring, is really kicking up. And the president of Colombia, because Trump basically also he said basically the president of Colombia better watch his ass too. And what just happened with Colombia? The news coming out of there, the major news coming out of Colombia.
And Colombia's military is on standby at the Venezuelan border. Troops have been deployed as a preventative measure following US strikes on military bases in Caracas. David Culver has more.
You can see behind me the reinforcement from the Colombian side headed towards Venezuela of Colombian military personnel establishing themselves here so as to have a show of force and perhaps try to convey some sense of stability, at least at this crossing. This is the Simón Bolívar Bridge. So here we are in Cúcuta, Colombia. Headed this way is Venezuela. And you can see cars are coming over from Venezuela. I've even seen a few folks walking over, and you've got motorbikes and bicycles. And the same from the Colombian side going into Venezuela. So it's moving at a rather normal pace for a Sunday morning. But this is a very interesting town in that it's a big indicator of what could come. It's essentially a pressure valve, if you will, of the migration that has been happening in recent years. I mean, Colombia is home to some 3 million Venezuelans who have fled in the past decade or so. And when you think about the total number since 2014, it's 7.5, 8 million Venezuelans who have left, many of them coming through this border so as to then continue on, and we've met them along the way, through South America and into Central America and into the U.S. But now it's a point of uncertainty, skepticism, and what happens next. This could be one of those places that we get a real indication of next steps. For example, if folks feel like things have stabilized and now that Maduro's gone, they can return to their home and reestablish their lives, this is one of those crossings in which that could happen. However, if they feel like there's more uncertainty, more instability, more fracturing in Venezuela, you could see more Venezuelans coming over and trying to flee whatever instability and uncertainty that is taking place in Venezuela. So this is a place that we're watching closely for that reason. And you can see the Colombian military is also on standby, trying to get an idea as to what next steps might be and how they might need to respond.
You hear that? They on standby. And they ain't the only ones on standby. You think Nigeria over there, Trump is threatening them? You think they not on standby too? Or getting they troops to standby? Everybody food at this point. I love it. I love it. Man, I love it. This is 2026 is shaping up already. You know, last year the big news at the beginning of the top of the year really like the first early big news was the was really, not necessarily even good news. It was the ceasefire between uh Hamas and Israel. Then the Trump getting inaugurated, the DEI stuff. So that was what was going on at the beginning at the year 2026. We got a whole president of a country that's been kidnapped and shipped over to Babylon to face criminal trials for drug smuggling and drug terrorism and stuff. They really want that oil. Trump is really messing with all these OPEC nations. Venezuela, Nigeria. Nigeria has a lot of oil as well. Hey man, stay tuned. Shit is getting really, really excited and ramped up. Let me grab this real quick here. Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we still got a few stuff like MOTB has to happen. You know, man, for this to be year of fallout, this is man, every year is a bad year to fall out, but the closer you get to the end, it's even more of a shame to fall out. And anyways, on that note, I hope this lesson has been edifying. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kodash, double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel. Peace, salutations, and shalom.